Are you a business owner or employee who needs to network but is terrified of walking into a room full of people you don't know? Are you afraid of being left out of conversations or being awkward in the conversations you do have? Your tour guide, Faithann, is here to walk alongside you through the networking terrain, offering tips and tricks to network with ease. She'll also bring insightful interviews with successful business owners who have used networking to expand their businesses. Building relationships is the heart of networking, and generosity is the cruise ship that will navigate you toward those important relationships for your business or career. Grab your sunscreen and suitcase. Faithann is ready. Are you?
Hello there, and welcome to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast. I'm your host, Faithann. I'm glad you found the show. Networking is providing opportunities for others that they would not have except for you, so that you have standing to ask for those opportunities from those same people when you need them. How do we create opportunities for others, and how do we ask for those same opportunities? Well, that's what this podcast is all about. It's what I'm here for. Let's dive into episode 14. Episode 14 is all about different networking groups, so the types of networking groups that are out there for us to visit and to be a part of as we network. Early on in my blog at thenetworkerstourguide.net, someone suggested to me that I write a guide, that I write an article about all of the groups. And so that's what I did. It's Tour 11, Networking in OKC at a Glance. Well, now I'm in the process of updating that article with updated information, and I'm adding a couple of groups. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity to mention on the podcast the kinds of groups there are, what to consider, and what you should be looking for when you are ready to take networking seriously to make it a serious part of your business plan. So the first facet of a networking group is going to be, is it a membership-based or is it non-membership-based? And there are both. And many of the networking groups that I feature in this blog article, Tour 11, at the Networkers Tour Guide blog, have chapters all over the United States and some even all over the world. So even if you aren't local to Oklahoma City, you could still benefit from going in and getting that resource to look at it and see the different kinds of networking groups that are out there. Because, like I said, many of them are going to be in your city, state, country as well. When we think about membership-based versus non-membership-based, it goes closely related to paid versus not paid, but not always. Some groups you don't have to pay to be a part of, but they still want some kind of membership component. And the reason that networking groups decide to do a membership model is because they want some kind of commitment from their members. They want some kind of assurance that these same people are going to be returning as often as the networking group meets. And so then when we're passing referrals, we don't want Bob the plumber to drop off the face of the earth without any consequence, because now I've just referred Bob to my sister and Bob is nowhere to be found. That's the reason why we have membership-based groups, is because we want it to mean something to all the people that are participating in the networking group, not just some. Now, a non-membership group can also be of benefit, and typically if a networking activity is not member-based, usually it's not paid either, and the advantage of that is that when you're just starting out a business, you can go to these kinds of meetings. You're not out a bunch of money right at first. Being in business is so hard. Starting businesses from scratch is very hard. It's a grind. There are so many expenses involved in it. And if you don't have to pay to network, that's one less thing you have to pay for. So there is an advantage to going to networking activities that are more loose. You don't have to pay to be there. You don't have to be a member to be there. The disadvantage, though, if you're going to choose to attend those kind of meetings, is that you don't have a lot of consistency because there's no commitment. There's nothing that's keeping people. I wouldn't say nothing, but there's less to keep people returning because they haven't invested any money and they haven't really put their reputation on the line by saying, yes, I choose to be a member of this group. It's still a great way, though, to meet people, broaden your network, make those business contacts, still have one-to-ones with those people, build relationships. So that's the first facet, is membership-based versus non-membership-based. Now, closely related is paid versus not paid. And again, the advantages and disadvantages are the same. It's if you pay, people say, well, why should I have to pay to be part of a networking group? Well, when you're paying, that means you're more likely to show up, even if you don't feel like it. So 7:30 in the morning, Monday morning, if you're supposed to be there and you've paid into it, you're more likely to treat it as an important appointment than if you haven't paid. Then maybe, oh, this happened, I don't think I want to go this week. So the consistency is there. You build trust with people a lot quicker if you're seeing them more often every time. If you can count on them being there, then you're going to have a very quick timeline where you're building that relationship. So paid versus non-paid. Now, non-paid is, again, okay and good because it allows for, people who are brand new in business to at least get themselves out there a little bit with other business owners who are also trying to make their way in the world, trying to serve clients, trying to do all the things that we want to do as business owners. I would recommend doing both. Having a group that you're part of where it's a more serious, it's more commitment among the members, and then supplementing with the other groups where you don't have to pay to be a part or there is no membership component. Now, the third kind of characteristic of a networking group, you're going to hear this phrase. When you start networking, you will probably hear this phrase come up. It's called industry exclusive. Many of the paid networking groups, such as BNI, is very popular paid membership-based networking group. Gold Star, Centrasphere, those are kind of the ones in Oklahoma that are popular, have what's called an industry exclusive component. So they have a membership component, they have a paid component, and then they have an industry exclusive component, which means that if you join the group as a painter, as a commercial residential house painter, there can be no other person then that joins as the same thing that you are. So you are the only painter. You are the only insurance agent. You are the only realtor. You are the only florist. That's called industry exclusive. If you are thinking about joining any networking group, especially if it involves the membership component and a paid component, you kind of want to know. This is something you would want to know. Is this an industry exclusive group? Am I going to be the only one in my profession in this group? Or will there be others? And they can both work, but you want to know that. Now, the idea behind industry exclusive means that you don't have two people in the same group competing for those referrals. So if there's only one realtor in my BNI chapter, then if I have a referral for a realtor, I'm not put on the spot as to which realtor am I going to refer. There's only one. That's the advantage to a industry exclusive group. And it is why there is the cost involved, because there's great advantage to being in a group that's industry exclusive.
Hi, listeners. Are you someone who struggles to make a great first impression when you meet others? Faithann has put together her guide to help you make a great first impression no matter where you are. This quick guide gives you simple tips to leave a powerful first impression, the first step to relationship building. Go grab this free resource today by clicking on the impressions link in the show notes.
The last component to networking groups is, are they national or international, or are they just local? So your local ones, there are several here in the Oklahoma City metro, several that are just Oklahoma City. They have not expanded to other states or even other cities. And then there are many that are, like I said, nation or worldwide. The local networking groups, advantages and disadvantages is your local ones are not going to have a lot of red tape. And often you can talk to whoever started that local networking group. They are very accessible. You can talk to that person. One of the disadvantages of a group that has a national or an international component is that you can't talk to the person who founded it. Many of them, though, do have structure so that you can talk to somebody in charge at a state level, at a regional level. So there is that to consider. And then one of the great advantages of a group that is national or international is that you can send referrals across the country and across the world. And in BNI, this happens quite a bit. And there's been stories in our chapter of people who've known people in other states who needed a product or service, and they were able to go on the database of BNI and find somebody in that state for their loved one or for that person they know well. That's a great advantage of having a group that's national or international, being part of one of those types of groups. Disadvantage is there may be some things that you just don't really care for. They tend to have a little bit more rules because you're dealing with a lot more people. And maybe there's just parts of those things that you don't care for. Disadvantage is you're not going to be able to talk to the actual person who started the group. But all of these groups, what they have in common, networking groups, a good networking group, regardless of its paid or not paid, member or not member based, exclusive, industry exclusive or not industry exclusive, national or not national, a good networking group is going to make you feel welcome and is going to give you the resources you need to be successful in that group. And they're going to be very clear about whatever expectations there are. Whatever expectations they have, they're going to be clear about them. A group that doesn't put out the expectations clearly of what they expect from the people who attend would be a group that I would not recommend being part of. You always want to know the rules of wherever you're playing in our adult playgrounds. In business, we want to know what are the rules, what are the expectations. We want to have clear expectations and ways to know that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And lots of encouragement and fun and friendly. So if you dread going to your networking group, you just dread it, you don't like it, then you should look for another networking group to attend. Because we have to have that fun, playful, happy, encouraging, gratitude. We have to have all those components when we're around each other so that we can build true relationships and look for ways that we can build each other up and find referrals. So there's been a lot of online activity, people wanting to know where all the groups are. I'm seeing that a lot now. Seeing posts like, hey, I'm starting to get back into networking. Where can I go? What groups are out there? And then, at least with me, here again, like I said, in Oklahoma, there's a lot of networking groups that people have and they're proud of and they're happy to invite other people to, and they want to see other people win. So they're saying, come to my group, come to this, come to that. So it's wonderful. I think it's really wonderful that we have ways as business owners with not high budgets, with not large advertising budgets, to still spread the word about our businesses. You just want to be careful and you want to be intentional about the kind of networking group you pick, and you want to know what they expect from you. And that has been one of the things that I've learned a lot about over the past 5 or 6 years networking. They're just, each group has a little bit different flavor, and it's so much fun when you can manage being part of more than one. Sometimes you can't, and that's okay. But when you can really meet a lot of people going to different ones, as long as you're doing it intentionally and you're being consistent, it's a great way to build your business. Go network, my friend, and remember, whether or not you're joining a paid membership-based group or a free networking group, you want to look to help others and look for the fun and the happiness that's waiting for you. And if it's not there, then choose a different group.
You've been listening to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast with Faithann This. Share this episode with a friend and be sure to come back next week for more networking tips and tricks from the Networkers Tour Guide.